but you guys can take over if you want.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. By all means.
Welcome to the Scrum, everybody. Got Yarrow, Brian, Marion, and Thomas is back.
In the house.
And let's start your Scrums. Brian, you've been working a lot, but you've also been pulling in some pull requests.
Yeah, I immersed in your pull request, Paul. That was a nice job finding out some redundant styles around.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, really smart.
Number 500.
Oh yeah, the winning number.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
pull
like
request
that.
in 500.
Maybe for $1 million we can actually give a prize.
Yeah. What should we give them for $1 million? They can have their name on in website 1.
Yeah.
Landing page. Pull request number 1 million. Yeah. Okay, what else was I doing? Well, I was speaking with Thomas yesterday discussing the future of website 1 and various other things. Yeah, not much apart from that. Like, I was looking at other pull requests. There's lots of discussions in Nikita's pull request about whether we should keep turbo links or not. And personally, I vote for getting rid of it completely. It's just problematic, cause trouble, and makes it difficult for new people to roll on because they need to be aware of it. Also, it will cause subtle bugs you'll never know. You're probably leaking memory in there, creating JavaScript objects and never cleaning them up. So yeah, that never was a problem if you didn't have turbo links in the first place. So you just too much bugs. So I'm voting to get rid of it completely. So if we have time today, shall we vote on getting rid of turbo links on website 1?
Yeah, sure. I think it's you have some valid points there. So I know that there are some other points of view as well. So we can. I don't know if is this a good place to discuss that or shall we?
Got one of each.
Yep.
And then I don't know if we need a pivotal story for this to actually do voting, but at least we can semi-vote.
Yeah.
So turbo, it'd be easy to think that you could hide some of the, the load stuff with a method, but then, like you were saying, if it's actually potentially leaking memory, that's a little more to do.
Yeah, because when you write JavaScript code, you don't normally think of memory leaks, but because turbo links persist all the global objects around, you could easily leak memory. And that never happens with any other, within standard JavaScript. That's just my argument.
Something to think about. I was thinking something to think about, but let's cruise through the other people first.
Yeah, sure.
You, Marion, you're next on my screen. What have you been doing? What do you plan on doing? Any blockers?
Okay, well, we finished the Scrums index page, I think.
Hooray, congratulations. Yeah. Did I merge that one in? I think I did. Yeah, in fact I did merge that one in. Cool.
One question, how do you find it? Where is it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's on
Good question, yeah.
Slash Scrum.
Go to the landing page and there's a view latest Scrums.
Yes, yeah, from the landing page, or you can do /Scrums. Where?
Okay, so it is deployed to develop, right?
Good point. Did the deployment fail? I didn't check actually.
How do I look at develop?
Website 1 -develop.
Okay.
.Heroku app.
Interesting. Something broke during deployment.
Okay, because it's not deployed. I get you. All right.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't find it before.
Right. So it seems to have timed out during the deployment. And then some random failure when I merged in Paul's pull request.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna rebuild it and it should deploy in a like 15 minutes.
Okay. So let's return to this now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And we did have some kind of random errors.
Yeah.
Like
Are
timing things,
Yeah, like
seem
modal.
like, right? Intermittent.
Yeah, the modals.
Hmm.
I don't know if anybody else sees that.
Yeah, I'm starting to think we should start to rewrite those tests.
Yeah.
They are not reliable, and relying on increasing the timeout is not really helping.
Right.
That's not a fix. That's just trying to cover up the bug.
Yeah.
I
What
think
test?
we should.
What test are we talking about?
For the
Anything that's been
modals.
failing, lots of JavaScript tests have not been working reliably. So I think we should try and use rewrite JavaScript to make it more testable, or use something like Jasmine so we don't have to rely on a full, like a Phantom JS server running in the background.
I thought
Like
I
that.
thought that Travis been behaving really good lately. I haven't had any failures in JavaScript for some time now.
Well, I've still seen a few. I have to manually restart the build myself. So
And it seemed to do worse locally than on Travis.
yeah. So really, we need to fix these tests.
And we did
I think.
change one test that was, it was for the projects controller, that it was, I guess the way the user was being created, so we stubbed out, I think, what was it, display name?
Display name.
Because you couldn't really rely on the users being ready for it somehow. I didn't really totally understand why. But we stubbed out display name and then...
It seems like something that's related to the testing, though, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes, with intermittent failure, but you'd never see that on the page because project always has a user by that time.
Right. But somehow during the test it's not there.
Could be friendly, maybe. Because both of those things are friendly ID'd.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into friendly. Anyhow, any plans, I guess, Marion, do you think you're going to be looking at that in coming up?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, let's move on. Keep the Scrum moving forward. Thomas, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys talked about direction of AV. Also, you got plans for the future, no doubt. What's that?
Yeah, well, I just got back yesterday, and one of the first things after saying hello to my family and having a dinner, I just hooked up with Brian, and we stayed. I was planning on having a 15-minute conversation, and we ended up talking for an hour and a half or something, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went straight to bed after that, I was dead tired, deadbeat. Anyways, first of all, great, thank you toward Brian and the rest of the team for a wonderful job during the last 3 months of my absence. I think wonderful things has happened with Website 1, and I think it's marvelous. I know Yaro's been putting in a lot of work, and the Google Hangouts connections and everything that happened on that part of the application is really great. So I'm very enthusiastic about the future. But we have some stuff that we need to discuss with and I've seen a lot of positive things going on, but I've also seen some things that I think that we've lost a little bit of focus on pair programming and things like that. So I hope that we can, at least within the Website 1 project, we can straighten that out and start, using the GitHub ping pong and pair programming and recording our sessions more than we have done lately, so we can find, we can get back to the core of the Edge Adventures method to collaborate on everything we do and learn together. But it's I was hoping we can host a meeting tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, with as many Website 1 programmers and developers present. I don't know when you can, if you can commit to anything like that, Brian. I know you have your work and stuff.
I can try, but it's very unlikely because Thursday is the deadline for my project at work. So tomorrow I'm probably dealing with last-minute requirements, lots of
Alright.
things. Yeah. So
But perhaps one of the days in weekend, would that work? Perhaps
yeah, that'll definitely work for me.
that would be great. Yeah, if we perhaps Pretty could join us if he's not in school or something, you know. And I don't know about you, Yaro, how your weekends are. If you're available on weekends.
If we plan ahead, yeah, no problem.
That would be great. That would be really good. And we can talk to the other guys, you know, the new guys that I haven't met, so you know I can get to know them beforehand. So yeah, well, that's so. Let's set it up. I communicate over Slack with everybody and see if we can get a meeting time that will suit everyone or as many as possible. So beside that, I've been going over all the pull requests on GitHub, and a lot of pivotal stories that have been worked on and that have been voted on and stuff. And just before we move on, I have a question about the Turbo Links discussion. Not about the discussion itself, but the pull request that Nikita made about implementing what is it? TinyMCA? What is it? Is huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
TinyMCE.
Yeah.
Supposedly
Why are
no
we?
better.
Why are we implementing this at all? I checked the pivotal tracker story, and that specifically mentioned adding Mercury to editing those project description. And for some reason, we're adding a new solution. Another gem and everything. You know, we are increasing the complexity of the application, and also it feels really redundant because we already have one solution in place, so we could just use Mercury for this. Is there any particular reason why we are looking at a new solution?
It was Nick's idea. He has implemented TinyMC before, and it's only like, well, I haven't looked closely at the pull request, but he was saying it's only like a couple of lines. And he decided to show it on his Heroku instance. So basically, we just see, you know, an alternative to Mercury. And the idea was for people to have a look, and if people like it, maybe consider using TinyMC together with Mercury, or replacing Mercury completely.
Okay.
I would pick either one solution. I wouldn't use both of them, to be honest. I put off making a decision on it because I wanted more members' like their feedback on whether or not they preferred TinyMC or Mercury. More importantly, I'd like to get Sam's input, but he's gone for a while, so.
Okay. But is there any
Yes.
request from Sam's on Sam's part that we actually implement something different? Has he expressed any? Is he unhappy with Mercury? Is there anything negative to say about Mercury right now?
That is a good question. I'm not sure because he was the one who originally suggested Mercury.
Yeah. He suggested that because I gave him that input.
Yeah.
Because I found that. Yeah. So basically, what we can say, this is is it done like a spike to show off new functionality? Do I understand that correctly, Yaro?
Yeah, it was just a spike to show it to other people. I've never seen it before.
And it is deployed on a demo site someplace, right?
His instance, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So we can basically close that pull request. We don't have to merge that in because if we have a spike. We can show that to the client, but we don't have to stick around with this functionality until the client actually says that he wants to switch, you know, Mercury with TinyMCA. I don't see a reason why we should go forward with this.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Any other input on that?
Well, I've been using, one thing about Mercury Editor, I've been using it quite a lot, and to be honest, I pretty much hate it now, honestly.
Right.
I hated it from the start. So.
Yeah, I would be happy to use Markdown or just anything but Mercury, because editing big documents in Mercury is just a pain.
All right.
It's not a rush, but I would honestly consider it at some point using something else.
Okay, and
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. However, we do have, if we stick to the agile, to the way we run this project or any other projects, we have acceptance from the client on Mercury on part of the application, and we shouldn't, we know we don't want to add unnecessary complexity to the app itself. So since this hasn't been requested by the client, I don't think we should implement that in the live app. Although I very much appreciate that we have a spike, we have a demo site so we can show off this functionality to Sam when he comes back, and we can return to this discussion. And it's a valid discussion because Mercury is not the most intuitive and most user-friendly solution. Although I think it's more user-friendly than the Markdown, but it's a completely different discussion, so that we don't have to have it right now. But for the time being, I think we should stick with what we have instead of implementing new solutions.
It looks like we have the latest version in the gem file already. So
once again,
just looked at the versions of Mercury. We already have the latest release.
All right.
I think.
Oh, by the way, a couple of weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, I was playing around with the Mercury editor, and I have it on my local repo. I have implemented Markdown for Mercury. Basically, there is a button on a Mercury toolbar. You can click it and switch to Markdown or switch back to HTML. We can use that at some point as an alternative, I guess.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to my issue with that.
I fixed that issue.
Markdown. What do you mean? You mean the coloring?
Then going back from HTML to Markdown and from Markdown to HTML. I did it a conversion thing.
Yeah, but some styles are not supported in Markdown. Like,
oh, surely. I mean, some stuff that you have in HTML, when you convert it down to Markdown, will get lost. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my issue. That once you do the conversion, you lose something.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we're also getting a little bit into the specifics of,
yeah.
A certain issue. But let's, Thomas, was there any more things you plan, blockers?
Well, the only thing I'm planning to do tomorrow, as I said, I'm planning to host a broader meeting where we can discuss those things, because it's very important. Again, even if Sam is the official client of website 1 of this project, we are still, all of us are users, and we need to take that into consideration. So all of our inputs are very important as well. Apart from that, I've read some documents. I know that Yarrow has some proposals about the way the project should be run. I read some documents about that, and I think I'm looking forward to be able to discuss that in a broader forum with a lot of developers. So I hope we can find a time this weekend to sit down together and brainstorm about a lot of things. So that's my plans. And impediments wise, just time. I need to get back in the loop. So I'm a few months behind. So I need to go over a lot of stuff that has been happening, and I hope I can do that and be a good support to Brian. For the next upcoming weeks when we're going to run this thing together, as we spoke about yesterday. So that's everything for me, I guess.
All right.
Unless anybody has any questions.
No. Yarrow, you're up. What have you done? What do you plan on doing? Blockers.
I have been polishing off the last pull request I was making for the live sessions, the live hangout sessions. While waiting for Brian's feedback, I've been increasing some test coverage and refactoring some things, like using factories than other things. And that's pretty much it. No blockages, and the plan is to polish this off get feedback, polish it off again, get feedback, and get it merged.
Cycle. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I should take a look at that still. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for the Scrum part. Was there anything to vote on, or?
Oh, Paul. Well, you haven't said anything about yourself. What have you been up to?
Oh, that's right.
What are your plans for today? Blockers?
I worked a little bit with Marion, and we may take a look at the testing stuff just to see again if we can figure out what's going on with that, or if those builds are failing for a concrete reason, maybe we can try to take a look at that too. But this morning I was just doing some basic Ruby practice, and I've been working with Bill to do like a little site for a doctor. So right now I was looking up the keyword tool on Google and looking at the rankings for different keywords.
Cool.
Very fun. Yeah. That's it. No blockers. So
Cool.
With that, I guess unless we're going to vote on something, let's wrap it and
we have
chat.
to vote on whether or not we destroy Turbolinks completely.
Yeah. Do we have a story for that or something?
Well, I think it's more like a general discussion whether or not we should eliminate it.
Should we do it on camera here, or should we do it off? How much
We
swearing
can do
is
it on camera, so there's no question marks about that. I know, on my part, I know that we faced several issues with Turbolinks before. I think we had some Turbolinks issues with implementing a lot of JavaScript. The date picker. Do you remember that, Brian?
Yep.
Yeah. And other stuff. And I'm not an expert, but I know that technically we had some issues with that before. And I would be, a happier person if we hadn't had those issues, because, all problems are bad problems, So yeah, I trust Brian's assessment that it's a better thing to get rid of that than to keep it. So I would vote on removing that, basically.
Should we do the vote in a standard way? Yes or no. 1 for yes, 0 for no, and we do a little countdown. And we'll see who actually votes to keep Turbolinks.
Wait a minute, what's the yes and what's the no? Yes, we keep it, or yes, we get rid of it?
Good question. Yes, we get rid of it.
So 0, get rid of it, and 1, keep it.
Okay, let's go with that. 1, we keep it. 0, we get rid of it.
We could just write the whole word, keep it, and then it would be no. Indicating.
1, 2, 3.
You have to make a decision here on the voting standards.
Oh, I thought Brian was voting. Okay.
Just making sure we have no confusion. So is everyone clear on what we're trying to do here?
I guess I would think it would be good to see if we're getting any performance benefit too. Maybe that's you'd have to at least spike to find that out. So
yeah, but I don't think it's going to be that huge difference, to be honest.
It's in development now, but not production. Turbolinks, or?
Oh, it's in everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and around it's a legacy thing, so we're wondering whether we should get rid of it.
So, any more discussion? Are we ready to go to vote, or what's up?
Yeah, you've all heard my take on the issue. I don't know, Yarrow.
I know Yarrow had the kind of the opposite idea, was
Yeah.
to hold on to keep it going.
It wasn't exactly opposite. I don't mind either. I mean, it would be easier to write JavaScript without turbolinks. On the other hand, having carefully read the the getting started guide on the GitHub for turbolinks, since then I don't have any questions about how it works. And honestly, I really don't think it's difficult at all. There are like 2 or 3 subtleties you need to be aware of. I agree that for newcomers, it's kind of difficult to jump on, but then maybe they can jump on at later time. I personally, I don't think it's complicated or difficult, but I'll happily get rid of it or stay with it. I don't mind.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, shall we put this to a vote
Yeah,
then?
might as well vote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. So put down your favorite number, hold off on pressing enter, and okay, I'll count down. 3, 2, 1, go.
Negative.
Negative. What does that mean?
As in, neither of those.
Yeah. It's a wash.
Okay.
I'll go
Well,
with the majority.
All right. So it's.
I mean,
pretty
at
much-
least do a spike on taking it out there and check the performance maybe. But the other thing is it's some work to do it too. So unless it's really
No, it's no work. I think it's if you want to completely get rid of it, just remove the gem. It should still be compatible, the code that's written, but of course there'll be refactorings to completely remove any trace of turbolinks.
right.
What about the events? The events of turbolinks that we use, like page load, page fetch,
That will just be replaced by ready.
page ready, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay. Personally, I wouldn't enjoy this task, but okay.
Is it going to be something that every time we have to take it out of Rails, basically every time that we switch to a new version of Rails, or any
No, it's
future proof?
in the start. Just get rid of the gem. That's all.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Brian volunteers.
Well, let's make a pivotal tracker story on this, and just let's should we? Yeah, when we have a decision on removing that, we can make a story out of this and see. We can
Absolutely.
discuss how much work it is to actually wipe everything out, and then we can assign the story to somebody in the next Scrum. We don't have to do that today, right?
Cool. Yep.
Sounds good.
But have we reached a decision about regarding the Nikita's pull request?
I agree, because I think Sam's input is the most important thing, and since he's away for a long time, there's no point keeping it hanging there.
Okay.
I
So we're
would just
closing
close
this
it.
one
Yeah.
and waiting for Sam's input. Okay.
If we want to re-implement, if we want to reopen it, then it's still there. We can reopen it.
Yeah.
It's not gone forever.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Good. Cool. All right.
Right.
I don't see a story in Pivotal, so I'll make one for the turbo links.
Sure.
That would be great. Yeah.
Be my guest.
That would be great.
And with that, another fine Scrum is wrapped up.
Yeah. We're back to having long scrums again.
Yeah, and
See you.
I'm partially to blame for that. So